Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1300, written by fishymoo, My Wallet's Mysterious Tale. My wife had the week off of work, so she offered to drive me to work. I asked her to check if she had her keys, phone, and wallet before we left. She noticed her wallet wasn't in her pocket and asked me to help her look for it. I sort of recalled her putting it on the mostly cleared kitchen island the previous evening. It wasn't there. We moved a few things off of it, but still couldn't find it. Both of us thought that she might have dropped it while she was out shopping the previous day and to call around the stores when they opened. So we went about our day and she drove me to work. She was quite disappointed to have to spend one of her days off calling the bank to cancel all of her cards, going to ICBC, auto insurance provider, to get a replacement driver's license, and going to her work to get a new keycard. She stopped by the two stores she visited the previous day, but both had no such wallet in their lost and found. She decided to head back home so she could grab her passport and other ID in case she was asked for it. She walked into our condo and saw the wallet sitting alone on the kitchen island, in the exact spot that I remembered it was. We have security cameras, but the footage during that hour was corrupted and wasn't viewable. Neither of us can explain what the hell happened. No one has spare keys except my mother-in-law, who was out of the country. No friends stayed over. The only logical explanation is that one of our cats took it off the kitchen island, hid it, and then brought it back while we were out. We definitely had some odd situations happen in that condo. This is the freakiest one. Case file 1300, My Wallet's Mysterious Tale. So it's pretty obvious that the universe itself likes to play games. I mean, in this case, I don't think it was an entity. I think the universal code is malleable. By whoever runs the show at the top layer, sometimes they just want to play pranks, either with a wallet or burritos or wedding rings, whatever it may be. They make it seem like something isn't there, and maybe it really truly isn't there, until they re-enable. They press a button, and it reappears, just like that. What else is going on here? Because of where it left off and then it came back, there's no other explanation. And it did so in a way where your wife first had to go through all the crappy day of canceling her cards and getting a new driver's license and all that. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think they wanted her to, maybe suffer is going too far, but just to feel annoyed, frustrated. Very frustrating indeed. Bonus file written by Esosorum, The Asthma Diagnosis Miracle. When I was maybe 10 or 11, my mom and I lived in an apartment with 2 bedrooms, down the hall from one another. We each slept with our door closed and each had a fan on in our room for white noise. One night, my mom woke me up around 2 a.m. and told me we had to go to the hospital right now. I was so confused because I felt fine, but she was just very serious and insistent. We get there and my mom tells them I'm having trouble breathing, which again, I didn't think I was. Turns out my pulse oximeter reading was like 80 and was quickly fluctuating between high 70s and high 80s. It is not supposed to drop below 90. I remember the nurse took the measurement with like 3 different oximeters and then the doctor showed up really quickly afterwards. That's when I was diagnosed with asthma. It's just so strange to me because my mom just woke up in the middle of the night with a gut feeling that told her, "You need to take your son to the hospital." And the feeling was so strong that she just didn't even question it. Our rationale is that maybe she heard me wheezing in her sleep and her mama bear instincts woke her up, but how could that have happened through 2 closed doors and with 2 white noise fans on? And she says my breathing sounded fine when she woke me up. She just had a strong feeling that I couldn't breathe. Case notes for the bonus file. The Asthma Diagnosis Miracle. So this is that deep-rooted quantum entanglement connection that we have with loved ones. And I think in the dream state, it's even more pronounced. Or maybe not more pronounced, it's that we enable or allow that connection to shine through when we're in that dormant state. Not dormant, our brain is super active in this dreamlike state. And because of that, we allow that part of our brain that is connected to other people that we love for the information to flow in. And yeah, you perceive it, or your mom just perceived it as an emotion, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. And in fact, to the contrary, right? It was extremely accurate. So trust your gut more, not just when you're sleeping. It'll probably save your life and maybe the life of other people that you love. Bonus file written by Western Manager 2657. When dreams guide your path. I was 15 on vacation with my parents and 2 of my friends. The first night we were there, I had the strangest feeling where I was so uncomfortable in my own body, and the uncomfortable feeling and pain would subside every time I tried to figure out what was wrong. My brain landed on something about my dad, so then the pain went away some more, and then I thought, okay, what? Surgery? No, that's not right. Coughing? And the pain went away completely, and I just figured my dad's gonna get a cold or something and I could finally go to sleep. The rest of the week was fine, until last night I could not sleep at all. Packing up the van the next morning, we had a roof carrier and I had a backpack with my laptop and camera and handed it to my dad to put in the carrier, but as soon as it was in there, I was like, no, give it back, and put it underneath the seat in the van tucked away. So I fell asleep on the way home and had this dream. I'm in a hotel room and I can't move. This guy I haven't talked to in a year comes in and hands me my phone and says, "This is from your dad." And I wake up to my mom frantically trying to open the door. We're in the middle of the highway. There's blood everywhere. All of our suitcases are flung about and we just got into a car accident. I get out and start walking to this field and I see the roof carrier flew a good 30 feet off and hit a tree. Then fast forward to the hospital. My dad and I are in the same hospital, and the doctor comes into my room and hands me my phone and says, "This is from your dad." I was like, okay, that's weird. Then my dad and I stay at the hotel that night while we wait for my mom to get discharged the next morning. And as soon as I walked into the hotel room, it was the exact same room in my dream. And that night, and for weeks after, I couldn't move because I had massive bruises all over from my luggage falling on top of me. I didn't understand why that guy was in my dream until he randomly messaged me 6 years later, and now we're engaged. I don't know how my brain created that dream of those events before they happened, and it's the strangest thing that's ever happened to me since. Case notes for the bonus file: when dreams guide your path. So I've been on vacations too with my mom. I think once when I was 10, before my parents divorced, when I was like 13 or 14. We did go to Florida on a vacation and I felt uncomfortable, but I think it's just being in a new area. Sometimes the feeling of uncomfortableness isn't like a sign, but in this case, boy was it. And not even just to connect with someone else that was in pain or would be in pain, but even not storing your laptop in the above compartment of the car, which was flung away. If it was in there, your laptop probably would have been destroyed. So this was a whole bundle of useful future buffered information you allowed your conscious mind to utilize. Maybe we all have this ability and we just suppress it, but I do think there are some minds that just enable it better, or maybe process that information better and distill it down to the conscious mind to be utilized. And those minds are very powerful, as you can see here. And now time for the quote of the day. Promote yourself, but do not demote another. Israel Salanter. How much effort does it take to promote yourself without suppressing others? It's like that state of panic and survival that people have, but at all times, where like if you're drowning in the ocean and someone comes up to save you, the natural instinct is to push them down, to elevate yourself. And I think this applies in all of life, where people are so prone to suppress others to get ahead instead of bettering themselves because, well, the latter is a bit harder, isn't it? Build yourself up, bring others along, or at least don't push them down. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.